Hey, welcome everyone to Wizards Outlook. We got Raymond Lyons here, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarpe Jr., and the Washington Wizards. They survived a very late scare from the Utah Jazz for a 122 win. Utah, similar to the other night when they played Miami, missing some pieces of their rotation. That said, Cardell, you're in the building. Exciting game down to the wire. Uh, what did you take away from Washington's 125-122 win?
Their ball movement killed them, and they didn't turn the ball over, but they turned them over, and that just that difference in the game ended up kind of being the edge that they needed. Neither team really played defense well. I think Washington played better in spurts, but overall, they neither team played defense well. So it came down to offensive execution, who took care of the ball, who moved the ball better, and Washington did that. They only had 9 turnovers themselves, but of the 16 of Utah Jazz 16 turnovers, they scored 24 points off of those. Um, Washington also had 32 assists on 42 made shots. Again, the ball movement, it killed them. The extra pass, the quick passing, it got guys a lot of open shots, and that's why they were able to score pretty efficiently, especially from 3 point range. It's up 36% from deep, and just under 45% from the field, and they made their free throws, but they didn't beat themselves. They only had 9 turnovers in the game. Their guard play was pretty excellent in that regard. Bub and all those guys, Koulibaly, the guys that were handling the ball a lot. So they didn't give the Jazz extra chances to beat them. The problem was their defense. Points in the paint, Utah killed them 64-46. And a big part of that wasn't just Kyle Filipowski. It was also because they couldn't keep Isaiah Collier in front of them. That boy, super explosive from over court and off the bounce, man. Like his first step is ridiculous, man. And they had trouble keeping him in front of him. The thing with him is he's a streaky shooter, and he made some mistakes with a couple of costly turnovers down the stretch, man. So that was to the benefit of the Wizards, and then obviously the bench can't get enough of that. 44 points, 33 points from the Washington bench. That was big time, obviously led by Justin Champagnie, the newly fully signed Wizard, with 17 points on 5 and 9 shooting for 7 from deep. Marcus Smart, the vet, 13, 5 and 4 in 18 minutes. Just being what he is, man. Being an accomplished vet and know how to play the game. That's crazy production in 18 minutes. He got it done. And Vucevic, 8 points, 7 rebounds. Then Kingsbury was 6, man. That bench, that ended up being the difference, man. So all in all, great ball movement. Uh, Scoring off of their turnovers, the Jazz turnovers, and the bench points. Those are the key factors for me, and the Wizards game as well.
All right, we'll have Ray rejoin us in a minute. Yeah, I thought it was I was I was kind of I was kind of impressed with at times their defense because they needed to get stops at different points in this game. But Johnny Juzang had himself a night shooting the
Yes, he
ball,
did.
like he really had himself a night. Then Filipowski, I know we're gonna talk about him, and some of the youngsters. We're gonna have a bit of a discussion in a minute, so I'm gonna leave that alone. But I was just happy you watch two teams with a good group of youngsters just get after it.
Mhm.
Night after night in this league, in this day and time, we don't always get that. So it was good to see they just got after it. However, it fell. It fell. It worked out in Washington's favor. And again, I'm appreciative of Washington's vets, where they're they're leading without getting in the young fella's way. And again, just showing the importance of quality vets. It goes a long way. Ray, know you back, so I want to get your take on this game where we saw Washington survive the late scare and whatnot.
Yeah, man. It wasn't a pretty game. Like I really pointed out, neither team really was very committed to the defensive end, but the Wizards found a way to win. These are games they typically lose. We talk about what boxes they check or don't check. Um, they were out rebounded handily tonight. The Utah Jazz, they had a lot of success in the paint and at the rim, but the Wizards outscored them by 14 in fast break points. They scored 24 points off of the Utah's turnovers, and they only gave up 18 points off their own turnovers, and they outscored them at the free throw line by 10. So while they were deficient in some areas, they still did enough to win the game. And they actually did. They defended in spurts. They got enough stops to go ahead and secure the win. And that was they did enough basically. And they gave up a big third quarter, but they didn't just get totally demolished in that quarter. They were they were like a step with Utah. They gave up 36 points, but scored 34 of their own. That's typically the quarter where things go off the rails for them, and they got to fight, scratch, and claw just to make it respectable to get in the fourth. And that wasn't the case tonight. They built up a lead early, relinquished it, but kept the game close and and finished things out down the stretch. The trades for those vets they're paying dividends, man. Whenever those guys on the floor, they come up big for the Wizards. Middleton, he's still getting into the flow and getting his legs back up under him. He's starting to be more spry and get more active. And Marcus Smart is just bringing a lot of energy, doing a lot of dirty work, and just leading those guys. And then the youngsters are continuously developing as well. So yeah, man, it's can never complain about putting one in the W column. Like I said, this is a game they typically lose, whether it be from poor decision making down the stretch or things of that nature. But so yeah, it's glad to see them finish one off.
You're on mute.
I was saying while I was muted it was good to see them get in the winning column before they go on this extended road trip, where they're going to be going for quite a bit. They get 7 games. That said, it's always nice to leave home with a W. Player of the game for you guys tonight.
Keyshawn George, young fella, career night, 23 and 7. He did his thing. He hit some big shots.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Keyshawn George going back and forth between him and Alex Sarr. But yeah, Keyshawn, he was aggressive, looking for a shot. Came up big when they needed, and yeah, man, it's just good to see him continue to get more confident and start to push the issue a little bit offensively.
All right, X factor for you guys.
Bub Carrington, 12 points, game high 9 assists, 5 rebounds, couple steals, couple block shots. I don't think people understand his pace. He kept the Jazz off balance, man. They scored 28. The Wizards scored 28 fast break points to the Jazz 14. 21 of that came in the second half. And Bub had a lot to do with that. He was pushing the pace, but he was under control, and he was making the right reads, man. A lot of his assists came on Keyshawn George, 3-pointers or dump offs underneath the basket. The Sarr or guards cutting in, and Middleton and all those guys cutting in to score. He was carving those boys up, and to have 9 assists, the 1 turnover. I mean, come on, man. Every coach wants that from their point guard.
Right.
Yeah, man. In a game where there really wasn't much room for error, Cadell just pointed out the assist turnover ratio. I'm living with 9-1 any day of the week. It's a game decided about 1 possession, and the way he took care of the ball was paramount. And yeah, he definitely pushed the pace on makes and misses. Just throwing a kick ahead pass and just keeping Utah off balance. That was crucial, man. It's in a game where neither team could really get stops. Yeah, he just was able to get the Wizards to sneak in some easy ones, and yeah, they added up, and it was a big part of the win.
All right. As you guys know, we've been having these questions at the end of Outlook about each team. Ray, we'll start with you this question. Which team's young core is further ahead, the Wizards or the Jazz? We got a great display from these groups tonight.
Oh man, Man, that's a tough one. Um, mm, I'm gonna go Wizards just because I think they're a little bit better defensively. Um, and then as far as Bub goes, I think the way he's able to control games with tempo and make good decisions, that's gonna go a long way, man. Uh, and then Keyshawn with his confidence continuing to accelerate is definitely gonna pay dividends. And then Alex Sarr, he just creates havoc, man. The games he's out, um, his absence is felt. He's a deterrent at the rim. I mean, I know the Jazz, they kind of had it going in the paint tonight, but he sends a lot of things back, and when guys get in there, he's down there. They make a lot of business decisions. So yeah, man. And then of course Bilal, he's in his second year. He's just continuing to find himself as an NBA player and round out his game. So yeah, man, it's not by much because the Jazz, their young core is super talented as well. But for now, I'll say the Wizards are a little bit further ahead than they are.
All right, Cardell, your answer to your own tough question.
Yeah, the Wizards got the edge because I feel like they want balance. Um, they got depth across the board, guards, wings, and bigs. As of now, and but to also be fair, the youngins on the Wizards have gotten a lot more game time this season than the young Bulls on the Jazz. They starting to get it now because obviously the Jazz don't win enough games, and everybody kind of prepared for the draft. The lottery bound teams that is. So you saw a lot of their guys that they were on the bench. Like the Collins, Jason Collins, John Collins, my fault, John Collins. Uh, Colin Sexton, and all those guys, they didn't play. You know what I mean? The usual suspects. So, but they got some talent, man. They definitely got some. Everybody Filipowski and Isaiah Collier. Um, actually, if Isaiah Collier was a little bit more experienced, uh, he could have recognized that a pick and roll between him and Filipowski would have been trouble because the Wizards would have had to worry about him turning the porter and getting in the paint and going in there and finishing. And they would have had to worry about Filipowski either popping out the shoot or rolling to the basket. And he was finishing at will inside, man. So it was a great battle between him and Saul tonight. Two rookies, uh, two picks and whatnot, trying to establish himself as young, promising bigs in this league, man. So it was a good battle. But right now, you got to give it to Wiz because especially with the wing depth that they have, man, they got so many guys that can do so many different things. Um, they're light years ahead of where the Jazz wings are. Johnny Juzang is more of a two guard, kind of put him in there with the Bugs and all that, but the wings, and that's where the Wizards kind of got the edge.
I was going to say the Wizards, and a lot of it's just as you guys mentioned, the time on task the Wizards players got. Like I think people feel it more next year, but getting a chance to play 28 plus minutes a night as rooks goes a long way. And then the wing depth, man. Like Bilal's in his second year, whatnot, but right, they got the type of wings teams in the league want, and they already have them. What in Bilal's year two, the rest of them year one, it's not bad at all, man. But it was fun watching that way to segue into the second question. Cardell, you touched on it a little bit, so we'll just let you add any thoughts that you wanted. The SAR first Filipowski battle tonight. We saw them rumble tonight. And obviously both teams got to feel good about where the young bigs are going forward. But any additional thoughts you had on those two this evening?
Saul is a little bit more versatile. He can do more on the perimeter. Filipowski is kind of more ready to go with the inside out game. You know what I mean? You saw Sar, he kind of shied away from doing work inside unless he was completely open because right now he's just not strong enough. He has to work on that this summer. Once he adds some weight and be able to hold his position in the paint, he'll be more dangerous. But right now, Filipowski is a little bit more advanced in that stage of doing work inside and, understanding how to play bully ball, use his body, use his athleticism and just punish people inside. You know what I mean? And also with strength comes holding your position, being able to move guys out the way so you can get more rebounds. And that's what you saw. He thoroughly 13 and 5. He got the edge tonight. It is what it is. Outscored them and out rebounded them. That's all. Got the last laugh because they won. But head to head, he got that edge, man. So 10 to 17 from the field, can't knock it, man. You know what I mean? So both are promising bigs. I think people have seen enough with the Jazz, like him and Collins and all those guys and all that. Depending on where they get where their draft selection is, wherever their draft pick is, just build out on that perimeter, man. Build around them young bigs, man, and everything. But marketing as well, who's kind of like that 3-4 guy. Build around that, man. Keep building the depth on the perimeter, man. And they're not far away. It's just experience. They got the talent. You can just see it. You can see it tonight, man. And it's not like the Wizards just a bunch of young guys. They still had Chris Middleton and Marcus Smart out there playing. You see what I'm saying? So guys that tons of playoff games under their belt, man, and they was rumbling. Especially Collier. We didn't mention them, Sensabaugh. Was solid tonight, man, going up against Chris Middleton. So they got some pieces, man. It's another reflection of how good the NBA is. It's talent. Like, it's a difference between not being talented and not being experienced to kind of help your talent flourish on a consistent basis, man. That's what being a young player is all about. But every player in the NBA has talent. Otherwise, they won't be there. But the know-how and the understanding of how to make your talent flourish from night to night, that takes time. And that takes a lot of work. And that's the difference between the guys that are at the top and the fringe guys, especially young rookies. So, for sure, man, you got to get the edge to Filipowski, man. But it's just a sign that two young bigs, they got a lot of promise that should do a lot of damage in this league if they continue to work.
Right. Your thoughts on the two young bigs going to battle tonight?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest difference I saw was the physicality, and yeah, Filipowski just had the edge in that area, and led them having a little more success individually. But yeah, man, sorry, he's got a lot to work with as well. So that's one thing he's got to improve on. You got to get in the weight room, got to get more comfortable. Throwing your weight around down there. It's there's no point being big if you're not gonna be big. So yeah, man. That's just something you got to get a little more used to. It some that jumper is not always gonna be falling, man. It's sometimes it's being able to just go down there and get some easy ones goes a long way. But yeah, like I pointed out, man, two extremely talented guys. They should be doing damage for a lot of years. But yeah, for tonight, Filipowski, I think he definitely got one up on him. But yeah, of course, I'm pretty sure Sar's happy with his performance and along with getting the W. But yeah, man, he should and I think in these matchups when he gets kind of physically outplayed like that, he feels it, and that's just going to lead him to try to catch up in that area.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Just Filipowski, the 2 years in college goes a long way. 2 years in college, work your body a little bit. Cardell, you touched on this since young fella got drafted about how important it was this offseason between year one and year two was going to be for him. Talking about Sar in terms of improving his body, especially if you're going to be in the paint. And this time where we're getting more and more bigs in the league. But yeah, Filipowski just looks like somebody who kind of already knows what his game is. And we're watching Sar Sar looks like someone's still trying to figure out how his game works on his level. And again, agree with you both where it gets a little stronger. Some of the big man stuff should be a little easier. But again, the reminder, the importance of what you're there to do as a big. Gotta be down there and hit the glass, man. That stuff matters. It matters quite a bit. Screen setting, being physical in that regard as well. All those little things. I think a couple nights ago we were talking about some of the things with playing the point guard position that people kind of forget or don't pay too much attention to. But as a big, it's great to have and like to build upon your skill. That said, the skills is supposed to be that stuff's supposed to be layered on top of the foundational building blocks of being a big. Certain things you just have to be able to do, and then that other stuff is great. You can shine, but that other stuff matters. And Filipowski right now, those basic building blocks, they're clearly there. But go ahead, Cardell.
The one thing I was just going to add is when Marcus Smart was guarding Filipowski on the perimeter, and he was pressuring him, and he forced Filipowski to have to put the ball on the floor. And Filipowski took one dribble, put his shoulder into Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is not an easy win in that physical battle. Like, he loves physicality. Like, let's do it. And Marcus Smart bounced off his ass across the lane, and Filipowski punched that shit home and won. Saw, on the other hand, if he tries to do that, once he gets bumped, he's going to get knocked off balance. He's going to pass that thing back out, and he tends to float back out to the perimeter. Like, he don't like that because he knows he's on the man right now. He gotta get stronger, though. And that's par for the course with a lot of young bigs and stuff like that, man. And that's also part of, the international way that you don't really see a lot of bruisers coming in the league overseas, man. It takes them a little time unless they already got the boat like a Jokic. They already big or something like that. But, that's the difference, man. And like Bray said, man, and, it doesn't make sense to be big if you don't play big. You know what I mean? It's cool to have the little man tools to balance everything out. If you out there, just like, I could get it done out here too. Y'all in for a long night, but if you're big, you should be down in that paint dominating, man. We got enough guards in the league, you should be able to balance that thing out, and that's what you saw Philip Hudson like to be Frank. Without his scoring inside, the Wizards probably won this game by double digits. You know what I'm saying? But he was getting them easy passes inside because he was knocking people out the way and being strong, man. Think about it. What he played a couple years at Duke. Yeah.
It was 2 seasons.
Obviously, it was a couple seasons that he matured physically, and they got him ready for this type of game, man. Because the thing is crazy about the league. He obviously, you can tell he's strong because, man, if you can knock Marcus Smart off course as a rookie, you know what I mean, you're doing pretty good. You know what I mean? But the way he looks, he don't look as big as you like when you saw him at Duke compared to college. He looked huge. But here it's just like, all right, you can tell he got the body of a rookie, but he cut though. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. A lot of just real thing, something real quick before we get up off of it. A lot of guys in the league got beach bodies. You know what I mean? Like, it look good, but they're not really that strong. And you can tell who's strong and who's not when contact is made. Who's getting bounced off, who's holding that ground consistently, and who don't fade as the game go along. Like, they're able to sustain it throughout the game to game. That's when you know guys are strong and they putting that work in with their training and their regimen and the weight room and stuff like that. So, obviously, young fella, he got it in him, man. It's just a matter of him just sticking with it. And I'm sorry, he got to incorporate that. And when I mean get in the weight room, move fucking iron, not bands. None of that. You got to move iron, dog. That's the only way you're going to get strong. Because, see, if you can't handle him now, Filipowski's going to continue to get stronger. And then it's just going to be impossible. So, I'm excited to see where both of them end up, man, because they both got a ton of potential.
Yeah, man. And like you said about the beach body thing, that's when you find out all those numbers for people's weights aren't equal. Everybody 220 ain't 220, everybody 250 ain't 250. And a great example, the last 2 games we saw Filipowski, that 250 is legit 250. He was moving that 250 around and looked like 250. Bam's around that, whatever Bam weighs. Bam was moving people around. It's legit. Like, that weight is that weight. All right. Like, all of it's not equal. So just a great reminder. Again, good win for the Wizards. We'll see how they do as they embark on this road trip. I think it starts out in Toronto. So we'll see you guys again on Saturday night.